Great.
Perfect. Well, welcome everybody. I'm excited about this webinar today. I also want to give a quick one more minute for everybody to join, but yeah, today's webinar is going to be, thank you, Andy, for the thumbs up. Today's webinar is going to be with Clinton Perrot-Schwartz, and I'll give him a formal introduction here in a minute. Just to let you know, it's an interactive webinar, so if questions do come up, please unmute yourself, raise your hand, and I'm happy to interrupt Clinton if any questions come up.
Yes.
But otherwise, keep your microphone muted for the time for the 15 to 20-minute presentation. Okay, so I'm going to give you your formal introduction, Clinton. So a little bit about Clinton. Clinton is an American-Norwegian real estate consultant with a distinguished background in international hospitality and a proven track record of serving the expatriate community in France. After completing his Bachelor of Science in International Hospitality Management at the École Hôtelière de Lausanne, I hope I pronounced that.
Very good.
One of the world's famous institutions in its field, and I can contest to that. That is one of the best hoteliers in the world. Clinton built his professional foundation across global markets, including Hong Kong, Seoul, Tokyo, and New York before establishing himself in Paris. His first experience in navigating the complexities of international relocation, combined with his deep expertise in French real estate market, that led him to the found of Clinton & Reed. As a real estate agent, he has developed an extensive high-caliber network across France, enabling him to deliver tailored, efficient, and reliable solutions for luxury-focused clients, particularly in the realm of fractional ownership.
Yeah.
Where here helps buyers access premium properties in a smart, flexible, and financial sound way. Clinton brings his presentation a unique intersection of global perspective, local market knowledge, and a client-first approach rooted in years of hands-on experience with both expatriate relocation and French real estate. And I can testify. I've known you, Clinton, now for a whole year. Wonderful. Trust 100%, and I'm excited for you to take over and present.
Fabulous. All right. I'm going to share my screen. All right. Can we see it?
Let me see. Yes.
All right.
We can see it.
Wonderful. So turn this sound on. It's okay on the sound?
I don't hear the sound right now.
Hold on. I may need to share with sound. Hold on. Let me retry this.
Okay.
Little technical. There we go. Share the sound as well. That's what I have to do.
Yeah, Jason's not here today, so.
All right. Now it should work. Fabulous. So today we're going to talk about a number of things, particularly our beautiful fractional ownership property, Eiffel here in Paris, and then a little bit how fractional ownership is adapted specifically. So what we're going to cover specifically is what is fractional ownership. Again, how is it adapted to the French market? We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to dive into Résidence with this beautiful property that we've prepared for this model. And then Clinton Reed Services, how they are accompanying the owners of this property and what's really giving it its plus, what makes this property so special. So the model. So what exactly is fractional ownership? So those who may not be as familiar with it, I think a lot of times, and we'll talk about this later, but a lot of times people think immediately like, oh, that's just a timeshare. It has some similarities, but there's some very key differences that are very important. In this particular case, we have a legal title to a high-value property, and we're shared among multiple owners. So you are actually the co-owner of the property, and you hold the title. So real equity, something that's different from a timeshare, and it's a deeded home ownership share. So you don't have a subscription to time. It's not a lease to the property. And you're actually getting real equity and appreciation of the property. So the real equity is a really big plus here on what fractional ownership is. Proportional use. So with all the different owners that you have of the property, your usage is split up equally among all of the owners based on how many shares you own. So you can own more than one share, but assuming that everybody has the same share, you have the same amount of usage of the property, and it can be split throughout the year. And then shared costs. That's what's beautiful about fractional ownership, is that you are putting less money forward for the same product. You get this beautiful property, and then you have maintenance fees that you pay forward, but that covers everything from maintenance, taxes, management fees, and this is all split among all the owners, so even the costs are much less. And of course, on that topic, we have to compare it against timeshare and outright purchase of the property. What are the pros and cons and differences? So like I was just saying, you have real equity in fractional ownership, unlike a timeshare where you're buying the time. Also in a timeshare, you're generally speaking, you're not going to benefit from asset appreciation, while with fractional ownership you are. So as you are a deeded owner of the property, as prices go up over time, particularly in Paris, on the long term, we always increase in value, like any major metropolitan city. You're going to enjoy the appreciation of the value of your property. And so therefore, when you resell, hopefully you're going to make a little bit of money off of it, especially if you let it go for some time. And then of course, you know, in this case, we're buying a 1/8 share for this property. So instead of putting forward, you know, a little over 10 million euros to have the whole property, that as someone who's traveling internationally, you might not be able to spend the full year in the property, or not even half the year. I mean, I have a lot of clients who will spend only 2 months in the property. It's such a shame, because you buy this, you put all the money for it, and then you don't use it to its maximum, and you don't want to rent it out. So with fractional ownership, you get to buy it for a much lower price, and you get your 6 weeks of exclusivity with this property. And yeah, so it's a huge benefit of the property without putting it all forward. So you're not putting all the capital. And then again, like we're just saying, all of the maintenance fees, all of the taxes, all of that is split among the owners. So we're talking about all the costs being reduced. How does it work specifically in France? So every country is going to have their different mechanisms to make this come together. In France, the two most important things to know about is the notary, the notaire, and an SCI, an SC in French, which is the company that we will create for all of the eventual owners to be a part of, that will actually technically own the property. So a notary is a required lawyer that's going to help you go through the sales process here in France. They are required by law, and they are a great benefit because actually they're going to make sure that we are conforming to French law and doing everything very square, so to speak. Everything will be very clean and by the books. During this process for fractional ownership property, we're going to create an SCI. So this is the civil real estate company that's going to hold the entity. And each owner, in this case, 8 owners, are going to have a share in the company which owns the property. And this is how we're able to establish all of the rules and regulations among the homeowners that are well defined before we conclude a purchase. And the process in France, this is a step-by-step of exactly what it would look like. So first is due diligence, which is with the notary, which is the great thing about having them in this process, is everything I just talked about, creating an SCI, doing all of the process to make sure the purchase does in a clean way. All of that will happen. That goes into the acquisition, where the notary is involved throughout the whole process. And that the funds will be held by the notary through escrow. And then once we've gone through the acquisition process and we have all the owners, that's where us at Clinton Reed, we step in to the onboarding. So that's helping get our clients set up with all of the different systems we'll have in place for the property to help facilitate everything and make it very easy. And of course, taking the specific preferences of every client so that we can accommodate to their needs and wishes in the property. Because while you are sharing this with other people, our whole goal here is to help customize it to each and every person. Then usage and booking. So we have a dynamic calendar that we work. It's a digital calendar where you can book your times like you would at a hotel. throughout the year. And that can be as anything as like low as a week. It could be even less depending on availability, that you can space out throughout the year. So if you want to stay a week in January, 3 weeks in, I don't know, May, and then a week in August, you can do that. You have a lot of flexibility, which we, again, in comparison to timeshares, is usually not the case. So you really get to use it throughout the year based on your personal wishes and needs. Governance, so that comes back to us at Clinton & Reed. As co-owners, you get to receive annual accounts, maintenance updates, you have voting rights on changes or updates that need to happen, and us at Clinton & Reed, we manage all of that for you. So the only thing you have to do is make decisions when they come. But it's all presented transparently and in advance to you. And then finally, it's important to say with fractional ownership, whether it's France or elsewhere, a great benefit is the exit. So a lot of time, people who own fractional ownership, they might have multiple, they might have it for a few years and then move on to the next one. And what's great about this process is that you can sell your share. And once you're plugged into the system, that community has access to it. And so we spread it out among the fractional ownership world, and we find you a buyer, and then you can move on to the next one, and someone else can enjoy your share. But Clinton Reed and our real estate company will follow through that whole process. So now we get to talk about the fun part, which is Résidence Mars, this property specifically. So we are located in the 7th arrondissement, one of the most prestigious neighborhoods of Paris, specifically on the Jardin de Champ de Mars. So that is the beautiful garden that extends from the Eiffel Tower. And we're on the end of that garden that is close to École Militaire. So it's the current military school headquarters. It's a historic building. It's absolutely beautiful. And so you have sweeping vistas onto the gardens, onto this building. The building itself is very interesting. It is a hôtel particulier, which is a mansion from 1931, and it's designed by an architect that was quite known in his period called Jacques Bonnier. And the building is a classified building, so it looks quite modern especially when you realize it was built in the 1930s. And so what we see often in these type of buildings in Paris is that we have these former mansions that used to be one family, like Downton Abbey, but now every floor has been split up into individual apartments, which still remain very vast apartments. And that's the case for this property. We have the entirety of the 3rd floor. We have direct elevator access into the apartment, plus a service staircase for our staff who help take care of everything. And then we'll dig into a little bit more, but we're fully renovated into contemporary standards. So one of the challenges we have in the Paris market in any price range is that our buildings are very old. We have buildings going back to the 1500s in certain neighborhoods up to probably the majority are 1800s. And these buildings have structural challenges. They have a lot of modern comforts that are missing, and we've addressed that in this property. While the fact that it is built in the 20th century, so we do have some modern standards that are not available in other buildings, we have added a lot of things to it to make sure that we have the comfort and level that our international clientele are searching for. And we have specifically designed this property with fractional ownership in mind. So just give you an image of what these views like. Beautiful, modern kitchen with all the amenities that we want. Something actually that's still quite rare in Paris. So what are the amenities that make this apartment so special specifically? So we are in 266 square meters. That's 2,863 square feet, if you want to be precise. We have 4 bedrooms. We are on the 3rd floor, as I said, direct elevator access from the main staircase. I call it the grand staircase. It's this big, beautiful, open staircase as you enter into the main building. We have 4.5 baths, so that means every single room has an ensuite bathroom, which are beautiful, all marble with beautiful finishings, either shower, bathtub, or both. And then we have a guest toilet in the entryway. And then we're in an energy rating A. For those who are not familiar with the French market, typically speaking, an energy rating of D is considered quite good. So to be an A, I have actually never seen that before, specifically in older buildings. And what that translates to in the practical sense is that our energy bills are going to be drastically reduced. So in addition to sharing the energy costs among all the owners, those are also going to be low. And then we have beautiful things like the garage. We have a car elevator that takes you down to a private garage that's in the building, that's secure. We have fully air-conditioned property, also very, very rare in Paris. And I can tell you, I was there in the summer. It's a very efficient system. It'll cool the place down really quickly. We have individual storage lockers for every future owner of this property. So that means that when you leave and you want to leave personal items in the property for your next visit, whatever it might be, our team at Clinton & Reed is going to remove those items, put it in your storage locker, or you can do it yourself if you prefer, and we will re-put it in the apartment at your request in the way that you want it. And so this way we try to allow customization of the space in this type of model. And fully equipped apartment. So you'll have everything you need in the kitchen, for example, if you want to do a beautiful meal or you want to have a chef come in. And of course, Clinton & Reed Concierge Services is what really separates this apartment from other fractional ownership properties around the world. And we'll dig into what that exactly means. So if you want, we do have a QR code up here in the top right of the screen that takes you to the Résidence Landmark's website, where it'll go into even more detail about all what we're discussing specifically on the property, access to the photos and whatnot. So if you want to scan, it is there. But let's talk about what, in addition to the amenities we just talked about, what creates something very special about this property, what sets it apart, both as fractional ownership, but just as a property in itself. We have an iconic address. So like I said, we're in one of the most sought after neighborhoods in Paris. It's incredibly rare. And on top of it, we have all these amenities, the air conditioning, a mansion, views on the garden. These are things that it's not just about it being rare. It's something that doesn't come on the market often in general. These are properties that people don't sell. They remain there, and the families for generations. This building being a great example. There's only been a few owners since the family sold off that floor of the building. Clinton & Reed Concierge Services and Management. So we were talking about a little bit, but we take care of everything. So all you have to do is show up. You don't even have to bring your suitcase in. We will carry the suitcase in for you. Access to the global co-owner community. So this is a big plus for this property, is that we have a number of partners that we're working with that will allow you to exchange your time in this property that you own with other equivalent properties around the world. So let's say you have your 6 weeks of exclusive use with this property and it wasn't going to work. You did 4 weeks this year and you just don't have time to do the extra 2. Well, what you can do is you can exchange those 2 weeks with another property around the world. So say you want to go do a trip to Kenya, which we've had clients do before, and reserve a beautiful mansion down in Kenya, you can do that. And then someone else will use your 2 weeks in that system in your property. And that allows a lot of flexibility. And while you are buying this beautiful property, you're actually buying access to a network of incredible properties around the world. So it's much more than just Paris. Rare property characteristics. So we talked about that a little bit with the air conditioning, ensuite bathrooms and whatnot. And then again, reiterating the fact that we have a flexible exit pathway. So you have a full team ready to take care of that process for you and help you offboard out of this property when the day comes that you want to change into something else. But maybe you're gonna love it so much you never will. To talk a little bit about the companies that we're working with companies like Third Home, Inspirato, or Vive. Vive has recently moved away from Inspirato. They were formerly One Fine Stay in Inspirato. I know that's well known in the fractional ownership world in the United States. But these are the type of networks that you are purchasing into, giving you full flexibility. On this property, it's 1/8 share, so there will be 8 buyers, and you will have 6 weeks of exclusivity. For those of you who do the quick math, you might notice that 6 weeks of times 8 does not reach a full year, and that's on purpose. We need a little bit of time in between each owner so that we can get into the property and do maintenance and take care of things that need to be taken care of. So, Clinton & Reed Services, to get a little bit into what is that specifically on this property. So, there are monthly fees for every owner, which would be 1,500 euros a month before VAT. And what is included in that? It's not just our services that we do in person, but it's also a lot of things related to the building. We're talking about a very big apartment, so there are a lot of maintenance fees and fees for the building that are not insignificant. So we have HOA fees for the building. It takes care of the electricity and air conditioning, heating. Fortunately, we have a state-of-the-art system, so that's going to be as minimized as it can be. Property taxes, we've put in housekeeping 3 times per week. Of course, you can ask for more on a demand basis. Linen and towel service, insurance. We have a system set up for administrative support, so access to all of the legal documents that you need for this property as a homeowner. Repairs and maintenance management. And we always take care of everything when you arrive. So when you arrive in Paris, you show up at the property, our team is there and waiting for you to welcome you to the home, help you bring your bags in, take care of anything that might to be taken care of, as well as leaving the apartment. So when you go, helping you get back into the car, get to the airport, wherever it may be. Legal, administrative, and financial setup. So whether it's taking care of getting you set up in the country, sometimes people would like to have a French bank account when they're here. We take care of all of that. And then just daily life and infrastructure setup, whatever it might be. In addition to what's included in that 1,500 euros a month, we also offer a variety of a la carte services, includes things like having your chauffeur booking. We can bring a private chef coming in. You want assistance with booking travel and planning and assistance. So it can go as far as if you're in the United States and you want to have a taxi, Clinton Reed can take care of the taxi booking on the US side, the flight, whether it's commercial or private, to France, and then take care of another taxi from your port of entry to the apartment here in Paris. We can take care of everything. And then it goes as far as like taking care of pets. You want to throw a party, and pretty much anything else you can think of that you might want assistance with, we can pretty much do it. If you want to learn a little bit more about what Clinton & Reed can do on that world, we have our QR code here to our website down here on the right-hand corner. And then outside, this is specifically about property management and fractional ownership, but we also do a host of other services. And if you'd like to discover that, please take a look at our website. Always happy to discuss. And so what we're going to do now is we did prepare a video that shows a little bit about the property and puts it, as we say in French, mise en valeur, shows all the attributes of the apartment, why it makes it so special, also available on the Résidence website.
Imagine owning a stunning Paris apartment overlooking the Eiffel Tower, without the full cost or hassle of a second home. Welcome to luxury co-ownership at Residence Champ de Mars. Instead of buying the entire property, you purchase a deeded 1/8 share through a transparent French holding company, real estate you truly own with real appreciation potential. Your share provides about 6 weeks of exclusive use each year, easily reserved through our intuitive online system with personal support, just like booking a 5-star hotel. This isn't a timeshare. There are no hidden fees or disappearing value. Your ownership can be resold, inherited, or even exchanged globally through leading luxury home swap clubs. While you're away or arriving in Paris, our dedicated Clinton & Reed team handles everything: maintenance, housekeeping, concierge services, taxes, insurance, and utilities, all covered by one clear annual fee with a la carte options available. Arrive to fresh flowers, your favorite wine, and a home that feels unmistakably yours every time. Pricing begins at €1,295,000 for a 1/8 share. Want more time? Purchase multiple shares. Up to the entire residence. Effortless, elegant, yours. Residence Champ de Mars by Clinton & Reed. Paris is waiting.
There we are. And yeah, so reach out, let us know if you're interested, you have clients that are interested, or if you're interested yourself, and enjoy an exclusive, fully serviced and hassle-free co-ownership property, unique here in Paris. So if you want to discover the Clinton Reed website or Résidence Champ de Mars, both of our QR codes are here on the screen. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, Clinton. I wanted to share.
All right.
So thank you for presenting, and make sure that you scan both codes, take a look, QR codes, take a look. It's beautiful. I mean, I did have a few questions actually. So with the private chef, when a private chef comes in, do they like make breakfast or dinner or like anything?
Yeah, I mean, they can do anything you want. So whether it's, we have chefs that can come in and take care of things for your day-to-day, if it's just having you make your regular meals, but we also have chefs that can come in and create beautiful dining experiences. So I know that a lot of times, especially in a property like this, because we have so many rooms, a lot of time people are going to probably show up with friends or family or whatnot. So if you want to have a beautiful dinner with wine pairing and everything, our whole team can take care of that.
That's wonderful.
We can set up a restaurant basically in your home.
Right. Because then you always go out and you kind of get tired of going out. So it's kind of nice to have it at home, and it's healthy. It looks healthy.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
And the chef the chef in the video is actually one of our chefs that we do regularly work with. So she's absolutely on board, ready to make it. And we have chefs from a variety of different backgrounds. So it can be a beautiful French meal, but we also have someone who's Mexican and makes beautiful Yucatan dishes. So we have a big international background on that field. So there's a lot of flexibility there.
That's probably the best part.
We're all about international and flexibility and choice here.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Perfect. And then one more weird question, because you said pet assistance. Is that you take the dog to the kennel, or you do pet assistance where you walk the dogs?
It can be whatever you need. So if it's to walk the dogs, if it's to also, I know for often we have requests for international travel with pets. It can be a little bit of a challenge. So we take care of helping you get here with your pets and then taking care of your pet when you're here. So it can be taking it out for walks or putting it to the kennel, and we have a network for all of it. That's
huge. Because traveling with pets, that's very difficult for some, and that is a big key point there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we've had occasions where we've had clients ask to have their pets go on private jets on their own to the destination, and we can do that. So it can be quite extensive. Yeah.
I love that one.
We can do it all. We can do it all.
Yes, you can. I know you can. Perfect. Well, thank you again. Love having you. And yes, everybody scan the codes, contact Clinton. It's a beautiful, unique property. It really is. Also, your services, Clinton, amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let me just figure out how to stop this recording, and I'll cut that off afterwards.
No worries.